All right, Miss Atkins, just wanted to give you a walkthrough on how not only to navigate through your control panel when you walk in, but how to use the Weebly drag and drop builder, and kind of show you the difference between the Weebly drag and drop builder and using WordPress. So just kind of bear with me in the video. I'm not going to make it too long, and as you saw before when we first spoke, I try not to use a lot of computer jargon or anything to confuse anybody because that would confuse myself as well. So here we go. All right, so when you log into your control panel, this is what it's going to look like on the back end. A lot of this may look useless or clutter to you, but actually all of it is quite important to have. So these are sections, first of all. So you have your My Favorite section, anything that is used a lot, you'll notice will end up on top here. If you want to pin any one of them up here, that'll always be up here no matter what you do. All you have to do is just click that and it's going to remain up there. So just click right here. It's going to notice that it turns into a pin. It's going to stick it there. This section here, obviously, says website. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol, in which you can connect a program such as FileZilla or Dreamweaver to your hosting environment. This particular section here, this whole of this here, what it would do is actually connect to it, and it allows you to transfer files locally from your computer that you have to your server environment, which would be in here, which is File Manager. File Manager is basically your entire hosting structure that would actually contain all the files, folders, images, things like that, that will be part of your website. And I'm just waiting for it to load right now. But you notice that it's not unlike looking inside of my computer, inside the tree here. Um, it's very, very similar. So you would actually be in here, and anything that you would install would actually be in here, or use for the website would be in here. So for example, you notice it says home.html. That is the designation or the extension of the file here. So if we were to actually click on the magnifying glass, it would take us to this page. This is the actual um, the default page that is for your site, for your domain. So we'll just go ahead and close out of that, and we'll return back. At the top here, this is the same thing. It's just at the top, it's broken up into sections. If you click on home, it'll take you all the way back, or you click on the back button in your browser. And we're just going to wait for that to load. Um, Email. If you want to set up emails, you have unlimited emails that you can set up. The emails, however, do have a capacitance of 250 megabytes, which it's a decent amount. It's not a great amount, but it's certainly enough for your everyday emails. You definitely want to make sure that you're using something like Outlook to retain those emails, to try and keep the mail server kind of empty, because once you reach 250 megs of storage space used, your emails are going to bounce back. So if somebody tries to send you an email, it's going to bounce back to them saying that that they've gotten an error, and the error is originating from the fact that your mailbox is full. Um, Domain. So your domain right now is, I'm trying to remember, jasonjills.com. If you wanted to add more domains to your account, you can register more domains. If you want to transfer them to and from domain.com, you would be able to use this. This helps you manage right here. Domain Central helps you manage the domain. So if let's say you ended up using a private server, or you wanted to check where it's pointed to, and I'll get into that a little bit later, you would do it through Domain Central. Marketing services, kind of self-explanatory. If you want to use Facebook credits to be found on the net, or Google AdWords, these are the kind of things that you have to pay for in order to use text to go. For if you wanted to have a professional writer write up content to kind of fluff up your pages for you, you can do that. Once again, that's a paid for service. These additional tools, these are more technical. I'll get into those if necessary, but not really necessary for you to at least know right now, especially with using the tool that we're going to use right now, which is the Weebly Drag and Drop Builder. So let's get right into it. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And I'm using Chrome. I definitely recommend using Chrome or Firefox for this, like I mentioned before. Internet Explorer as well as Safari, they tend to have a bit of an issue working with this, and I'll show you why. So if you have multiple domains, you would see this one here, and then another one labeled below it, and another one labeled below it. But for now, you only have the one here, and the reason it says Basic Site Builder is because there is a premium version. The premium version doesn't limit you to 6 pages, whereas the basic version limits you to 6 pages. But the premium version, of course, you have to pay for. And I'll let you know the pricing when I speak to you next. But let's go ahead and dive right into this. And I'll Let's pull this down just a bit. All right, and there we go. All right, so this may look slightly confusing when you first get to it, but don't have any trepidation with this. You'll be just fine. So, yeah, this does have a autoresponder. It's when you hover things over. So it looks like you may have gone in here and done a couple of things, but let's go ahead and have a look around. So first thing you want to notice up here is that you do have an orange button that says publish. You're not going to want to do that right just yet. You're going to want to do that when you're building. You do not need to press this while you're building or after you're done building. Weebly does have this great built-in feature where it's auto saves to its Weebly servers, and you can publish at any time. So you can actually build out an entire website and never click publish, but all the information is saved. So let's say your computer crashes, or you just turn it off really quickly, or anything like that. The information that you've done up to until that point would have been saved on Weebly servers. So besides that, you have these four buttons sitting up here: build, which is these tools right here. I'll get into that in a moment. Then there's design, and design would actually help us choose out the different theme options that we have here. And if you wanted to sort by color or the tag type, then like graphical kind of website or template rather. These are all called templates, or business template or a general purpose template. Um, that would kind of narrow down the field for you. And it may take a little bit. You can scroll through all these. There's quite a few to go through. What you're going to be looking for what you're going to be looking for is not necessarily the color or images or anything like that. What you're going to want to look for is the layout. So for example, this is a perfect example right here where the site title is here, but the menu is up here. And as you build out, the menu would go across here. Whereas the site title, so Jake and Jill, would be here, but the menu would kind of be around in this section. And once you select a template, there are a few other options that you have in terms of layout, like you can change it from being a narrow banner at the top here in the header to a boxed image here, and then you can add text and then a button here. So you see how this kind of changes from one to another. So you're just going to want to kind of go through these and peruse and see which one best suits you. Now we'll go to the next the next tab here, which is pages. What this is, it actually controls exactly what it says, pages. I mean, like I mentioned before, there's layouts that you have. So let's quickly go back to here and notice that the banner is here. It's just a little bit of fluff here, just imagery. But you can also place a logo up here. So what you would actually can do is click text, and we'll just call it. You can do that, or you can change it to be a logo. And what you would want to do is either drag a photo. Since you're using Chrome, you would be able to drag it into here and it would automatically upload, or click this to pull the image from your computer. You could use this, but the problem is that if you link to a website, the image, if it gets changed and isn't there anymore, it's going to break on the page and you're not going to see that image anymore. So just make sure you have any images that you're going to use for your site available locally on your computer, and make sure that you have paid to use those images, especially if it's like general or stock photography. You want to make sure that you get those, and you want them to be of a high resolution. So we'll go ahead and close that. In the menu system here, we have home. So if we go back here, and let's say we change this to tall header, and we save, voila, it changes the layout here. So the menu would actually go downward. So based upon the template that you choose and the layout that you choose, you can make the site or each individual page look as different as you want. So getting into that, let's try and you can have three options in here: standard page, blog page, and external link. Standard page is a standard page. Blog page means exactly what it says. It's a blog type page where each there's gonna be like little sections, and I'll kind of get into that, where You kind of keep it like a journal or diary or news or latest events. An external link, you create a page, and what it is when you click on the menu item, you wouldn't actually go to a page on the site. It would actually link to an external site. So if you want, let's say I wanted someone to click here and take them to CNN.com, when they click it, it'll actually take them there. So that's what these three are. So we'll click standard page, and let's call this contact us. All right. Let's just add another one, just to kind of show you one more. This gives you a bit of information. Weebly is friendly like that, where it'll um, give you pop-out hints and things like that to let you know where to go, what to do. So with this one, we'll call this about us. And let's say we'll add one more and call it products. And you see what I did there is you click and you drag and you pull down. So just like I told you, to manipulate Weebly, if you know how to click and drag on your desktop, and you know how to manipulate Microsoft Word, you can definitely use Weebly. So just click and drag and move around. And another thing you should know about this is, let's say you want to create a sub menu item. So let's add a blog. Let's call it my blog. And let's say you wanted it so that when you were to hover over, you'll get a drop-down menu effect where you get extra options beneath a menu item, or what we call a parent. You get child items. You would grab this and bring it here, and you see how it's indented in? Boom. That makes it a child or a submenu item of this item here. And we'll go ahead and click save. And you'll see it loading, and I'll add in a moment. Now, one more thing I wanted to show you in here is that you could create this and hide it so that when people go to your website, you have visitors that go to your site, it wouldn't be visible. So that would be good in a sense where, if let's say you wanted to temporarily hide that page while you're working on it, but you wanted the rest of the site to be viewable to the public, you could just do that there. If let's say you wanted to block off a page for specific users or yourself or people that work for you, and you want the information to be on there, you can actually lock the page and have a password for it. So we'll go back and we'll go to home. And what you can do is you just actually click build, and it'll take you right back here. And you got home, products. Remember that submenu item? My blog. Now shows up like that. And then you got contact us. To edit a page, you would actually use any one of these items in here. So let's say we wanted to grab that and put a title above this contact box here. We can do that. Once you click and you drag it over, you can notice that there's a blue line there. I'll do it one more time. You click, you drag, and you'll see a blue line, faint blue line. See it right there? That means it's going to go above it. Let's say we wanted to go below it. See the blue line below it? Okay. So we'll drop it. Boom. There you go. Takes a couple of seconds to load sometimes. And we'll just say, welcome to my page. All right, so right now you have a contact form here, which is really cool. You did a great job with that. All of these are pretty self-explanatory. So if you just want to add text, you go there, you drop it there in order to add text. And I'll just grab some quick text from a Lorem Ipsum site. All right, and we'll come here, and we'll do that. Boom, there we go. Now if you want to manipulate what was in here, say you want to make the text just red, good. Just make sure you highlight it. Once again, if you know how to use Microsoft Word, you can do this. It's really easy. Sometimes that'll happen. You don't have to freak out. It's really manipulatable. Just remember that each particular item that you have in here or element is going to be in a frame or box, and you just want to move back and forth from box to box. So some of them you click save, some of them you just click back and forth. Okay. So if you want to increase, let's say this is a little bit small, we will increase the size by doing that. Pretty easy. All right. So if you want to bold it, italicize it, put it underline, you can. All right, so we got that there. Now let's say you want to, you're like, Chris, I want to, you know, add a little pizzazz to this. Cool, no problem. You can add this here. And you see what's going to happen is it's going to be a blue line above the contact form, but just beneath that faint box above here, which is right about there. You kind of see it in between there. We'll drop it. And what we'll do is we'll just quickly grab an image. And of course, depending on the speed of your computer and your internet connection, it may take a while or not. But it's going to crunch and it's going to put itself into there. You can edit the size or the image of it. You can resize the image by grabbing there. So we'll go ahead and just leave it kind of small. If you want to make it a lightbox, what a lightbox means is that when this is actually published and available for viewing, if someone clicked on the image, a box would kind of show up, the rest of the website would darken, and they would see the image more prominently. So now that we have that there, of course, we will just do what we did before. We'll just add a little bit more text in here. Okay, perfect. And so we got that there. And let's just add a little bit more so we can fill it out. I want to kind of show you what you can do with columns. And really the limitation of this is only what you have in your head um, as your layout. Remember we spoke before that building a website is very much like building a home. So you have to have that blueprint. So that blueprint that we spoke about before is very, 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 very key. So if you wanted your home page and you know that you want to have a welcome and some introduction image here, you need to have, you should have all that laid out. And of course, as we go, you can just kind of make it up, kind of like what I'm doing here. So let's say we want to kind of add a little, I don't know, something something to this to make it a little bit different. We can put that there, and we'll add some text here. Now what we did is we put a two column element in here. So I'll show you exactly what that means. You can make it a 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, 5 column, and then you can actually adjust it from there. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's go ahead and make it a 3. So it makes it 1, 2, 3. And instead of here, we'll put this, and then we'll just add some text. We'll go there. And what we'll do is we will, just for fun, add a slideshow. And we'll just do it like that. And you can try different ones completely, totally up to you. And let's just do the 4. It's going to take a little bit to upload. And while it's doing that, I'm just kind of thinking of something up on the fly. So let's grab some more text from our Ipsum Lorem. We'll click Save. And once again, if you wanted to manipulate the order of the images, you could do so in here. This is just taking some time to load them all up. And I'll show you something in a moment once that's done loading. So we'll grab some of this here. And let's say we want to make this slightly larger and make this slightly smaller. Wait for that to put in. We'll put that there. And you know what, we'll just make this a little bit shorter. So as you can see, I'm just kind of planning this all out in my head. But if you wanted to do this in particular ways, you could totally do that. That's completely up to you. And let's say we wanted to add this in here. You can have 3 columns and then multiple elements within the column. And let's say we wanted to change any of the features in here. You could have your show control, starting position. You could have it do random. We'll go back. You have various options in here. Speed is pretty good. Now, if we wanted to, let's say, edit in which order they're going in, because you didn't want to leave it random. Let's say you had a before and after and a before and after, or stage 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do that. And let's say that. Save it. Yep, it's still there. So, and let's say we want to add one more image. Just gotta wait for it to crunch. And really, it can start to come along very, very quickly and look like a very well done site. It's just all about the layout. So image and text allows you to do what I did up here. You could essentially do the same thing if you just laid it out properly. You can have text there, and then make another text there and just kind of have it go beneath it. You could have it do it auto. You can break it up using columns. If you wanted to, you could place a column within a column. So let me show you what that kind of is. Well, you kind of get the idea of what I mean by that. Slideshows, maps. So if let's say on the contact page, let's go ahead and try that. So if we wanted to go to another page and edit it, click on contact us. Simple as that. Now you see the layout changes here. I would definitely recommend trying and be uniform or standard, whatever you want to call it. You don't want the site to all of a sudden change up on the visitor because that kind of may throw them off. So we'll just go to pages and I believe we're using. Okay, so that one is short header. So contact us. Make sure you just highlight the correct one over here. Go to short header. And we'll make sure they're all on short. Save and edit. And now we're back here. So what a lot of newer designs tend to be doing these days is they'll have a map. And boom, you got a Google map here. And it's going to ask you for some information. It's going to say, hey, what's the address? How do I know where or what I'm showing? Where's the pin going to be at? You're going to want to put it there. You can change the zoom so people can see what they're looking at. 15 seems to be 15 is the default, which seems to be enough for most people to see. Okay, major streets, highways, thoroughfares, and easy for them to find. Longitude and latitude. If you plug in the longitude and latitude here, which you would just go to Google and just like look up 15 Phoenix Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona. If you look that up in Google and just type next to it longitude and latitude, you'll find a website that will tell you the longitude and latitude, and that will give you where the pin marker is going to be at because that's the exact GPS location. So once you have all this filled out, this is going to appear here. So we're just going to leave that there for the sake of just default and kind of showing you. Let's say we wanted to add the contact form because this is the contact us page. Now it looks like you edited it before, but let's just do it for the sake of argument. Let's do something. Okay, so in here, you'll notice that each one of these is a fillable or editable box within this frame. So when you add an element over, most of the elements will have some kind of option area. All you have to do is just simply click within that box to get that to come up. So if you wanted to leave particular instructions when somebody comes here, it's going to fill out exactly what they should do. You can change various options within here. You can make a specific field required or not required. So you notice that this goes away. You can call it whatever you want. So I'll kind of show you that in a second. Form options is very, very important to do. You need to give it a name and you need to tell it where the email is going to go to. So if you have an email for Jake's and Jill's.com, you can need to have a little, Kim at jakeandjills.com and place that in there. If it's going to be a personal email, that's fine, whatever you want to do it. When someone has submitted their email or a contact form to you, this is what they're going to see. So you can have this come up, you can have it be a link, whatever you want it to do. You can have it change to a particular page. And that's another thing. When you're creating links within here, you're going to get a few options. You can either make it go to a specific page, cnn.com, or you can make it go to a page on your website. So all you have to do is select it in there. So we'll just, for now, have it go home. Or we can get rid of that and go back to this. Usually I leave it like that. That's pretty standard. Like I said, we don't want to, it's not best to confuse the visitor. And if you click on view entries, is going to bring up how many or the emails that were sent to here. So you can notice that any emails that or contacts that have been submitted, they're going to fill out in here. So we'll just go ahead and get rid of that. Now let's say we wanted to add extra fields in here. We wanted a phone number. We don't want to make it mandatory. All right, cool. What we're going to want to do is add this particular element right here, or it says phone number, so we'll just put it in between. And once again, you can make it required, not required. We'll leave it as not required. And let's say we wanted to have buttons. We will choose clicking on here. And let's say we'll call it um, do you, oh, sorry, do you like the site? And say yes. This will say no. And what that'll do, allow someone, when they send you back the information, you're going to see this as well. And it's going to let them know, let you know what they think of the site. And drop down menu box. Let's say we wanted to add, hold on, sometimes that does happen. If you don't line it up properly, it will not show up. So, okay, give me 1 second. Let's see where it's at. Alright, it looks like Chrome may have just kind of overloaded for me, and that does happen here. So it's not that it happens commonly, but if the program does get a little bit lost, what you can do is just exit out of Weebly and come back into it. But you kind of get the point of here. Another thing I want to mention to you is that you'll notice a couple of these, they have these little stars in them, and what that means is that that is reserved. This particular option here, this element, is reserved for premium Weebly clients only. So if you were to actually try and use it, it wouldn't work. It would be orange instead of blue. So you're not going to actually be able to use that. So what we'll do is at the end of all this, we'll click save. And go back here. And one thing I want you to notice is, let's say we haven't clicked any save or anything for the whole site. We haven't clicked publish. Let's just go ahead and close out of it and go back to it. And voila, all the work that we've done still here. So I hope that gives you an idea of what you can do. Like I said, this is far easier to deal with than some of the other methods of building a website. Um, WordPress, a little bit different. Um, I can actually, let's see, hold on. In order to deal with WordPress, one of the first things we're going to have to do is we would have to actually install it first. And what that would involve doing is giving it its own directory. So we'll go into here. And what we can do is, well, in here, we will create a directory and let's call it and the reason we want to do that is because you definitely don't, if you start going to start getting multiple domains, you don't want all of the content in the same directory. You want them to have their own homes because it'll overlap, and next thing you know, things will get confused and websites won't show up properly. So when we have this here, what we're going to want to do is go to Domain Central. And once Domain Central comes up, I'm going to show you exactly how you would point it so that anybody who travels to your site is going to know to go to that folder. That folder is then going to bring up all the information for your site. So we'll go here, go to pointers. Right now it's parked. We'll just call it a subdirectory, and we called it Jake's and Jill's. I'll click save. And now anything that's put in there, anytime someone goes to that particular domain, it's going to go to whatever's in that folder. WordPress is a little bit extensive in terms of installing, but the back end looks nothing like that drag and drop. It's actually quite different. I'll link you in the email some other instructional videos and show you those in videos. They'll kind of be in the back end of a WordPress. From here, you can kind of make the decision and as to which one you want to use, and just feel free to let me know. If you have any further questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks.